So maybe just to close out the cracked beta topic, do you think this is a pretty big case with Capcom? The biggest before this probably have been with Injustice, with people blaming beta testers for like winning tournaments. But even then, it was so minor that people basically forgot about it. But this one feels like bigger than ever before. So do you think this could discourage other companies from doing betas?
I would hope not.
No.
Oh, do you know what? I know. Okay, sorry. I'll say my counter argument to that immediately. Tekken 8. Tekken 8's already been doing it. But what they're doing is they're taking it to the event. You can't crack it at the event. That's all they had to do. Do a location test, and Bob's your uncle. That's all. You can't. Obviously, at some point, you're going to have to put it online to see if it works at home, because online's becoming a huge thing now. But will it deter other companies? I think 100%. Somebody has to be a scapegoat for the other ones to say, let's not do that, because the scapegoat works both ways, right? $2 million prize pool for Street Fighter 6. Are other companies, we spoke about this before, are other companies going to follow suit, or are they not going to do that, right? And then the other thing is, Street Fighter being the scapegoat again, they put the game out on PC for a beta. Oh, the boys have cracked it. And it's like, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's just keep taking it to events, and people have to come to the event. Therefore, you've paid to come to the event to try it out, and you get limited time, and then you can make content on it when you go home. But you only limit that to a certain number of people. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's a for and against argument for that. But right now, there are location tests happening for Tekken 8, and I'm hoping they'll continue to happen. But not in the same vein. Maybe nearer the time, they'll do one beta test for Tekken 8 online. And then do you know what? Do you know what would be very, very interesting? If Tekken 8 gets cracked in the same vein Street Fighter 6 did, I'm like, nah. I think we'll have an answer clearer then, but that's way in the foreseeable future. So it's hard to say now.
Yeah, I mean, Tekken's currently still just at the closed alpha stage. And there's been no confirmation of a closed or even open beta, but they've been sort of hinting at it, that like a general public would be able to play the game eventually. But yeah, I guess, it is a new precedent really for this kind of thing. Like, in the past, for the vast majority of time that fighting games have existed, they've had like an arcade run prior to a console release. And I guess Street Fighter V is the game that first started bucking that trend, because that was the first major fighting game that had a console release before an arcade one. And ever since then, it's been the pivot upon which the industry has changed.
Yeah. Somebody has to be the scapegoat, and most of the time it is Capcom. I like that Capcom they're never really afraid to take the plunge. I think just what happens is some people put a question mark above their head when they see a certain response from the community or said outside parties. But I think I think tests will happen. I think you should definitely limit it to a certain number.
I was just about to say some type of like invitational to like a limited amount of people. Have them sign some type of like NDA or TOS, whatever it is, like contract you can have with them to make sure that they don't break any type of rule or whatever it is that may be. But I think having like a very limited amount of like trusted players, because for me, like I've done testing where it's me and like a group of people, and like we sign the NDA, we sign the TOS, like whatever it is, and it's just like a small group of trusted players that that can test it, that have time to test it, that know the ins and outs of the game. That just I think that might work a little bit better, in my opinion, rather than just kind of opening it up to the public like what Capcom has done. Because at that point, look at it now, what the beta and stuff being cracked and stuff. On PC, of course.
The thing is, I'm a PC player, but that's really the root of the problem. I mean, if you release any sort of beta on PC, it is going to get cracked. There is no way, yeah. So I guess the natural conclusion is if you want to have a beta, closed or open, I think it's a good idea, especially nowadays that you don't have a prolonged arcade testing period. That's all you have really to get the player base to get their hands on the game before you release it. It's an important period of time. That feedback is essential. I guess it makes sense just to have it early on console.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair too.
If the PC players don't like that because they don't want to buy a console, they can't afford one. Oh, that's just
the way it is. That's just the way it is.
Sorry about it.
I hate to be that guy, but I'm just like, look, this is why we can't have nice things. Legit. Like, look, there's an open beta coming for Street Fighter 6 in like 9 days time or something. People are like, oh, it's the same 8 characters again. I was like, you fool. Do you like when
I like that.
When did you get so entitled that can you not see what's been going on? You're like, yeah, I hope the beta allows us to play it. No, it's not going to do that. Like, use your head just for a second. They're doing this to go, right, you can play the game, but I'm not giving you the full game because someone's going to crack it again and you're going to have it 2 weeks before the release. Like, just, oh my God. Sorry.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of it being more exclusive to console because like we just established, like there's no way it could possibly be cracked on console. But I think in the future for like PC betas, I think maybe make it a little bit more exclusive. But like Arya had said, like there's absolutely no way to be able to police it because even if that did happen, someone somewhere will still make it happen, and whoever that may be and whatever that little test group, it'll still get out to the public regardless, and it'll be passed around like notes in a classroom.
For sure. Yeah, I think even, I mean, it is possible to crack a console version as well, because consoles these days are they're just PCs basically. But it's going to be much harder to sort of like download it and play it and distribute it. With a PC, it's super easy. Just like slap it on a torrent and anyone can download it, you know, with like a simple Google search. But if you crack it on a console, there's a bit of know-how required, and you add several. Yeah, it's too much effort, and most people can't be arsed with that. So, yeah, you know, I imagine Tekken 8, there probably will be some sort of closed and/or open beta, and I'm guessing there's probably, you know, discussions going on at Bandai Namco right now. Like, should we put this thing on PC like Capcom did and run into the same mess they did? You know, as Jammerz said, Capcom's always the one leading the front on these issues, right? They you know, pick up all the controversy and slack, and I guess the other developers can look at Capcom and be like, okay, well, that didn't work for them, so maybe we can adjust based on that.
Hey, somebody's got to get in the line of fire and take one for the team.
Yeah, they're the guinea pigs. They're the guinea pig.
They've got to do it. But again, I'm hoping, just like it was mentioned earlier, it's like, look, when the game comes out, you'll forget about it because I finally got the game at home. Don't care about that guy that was playing it 2 weeks before me because I've got it now. And it's like, yeah, that should have been your mindset before the game came out. But we will just have to wait and see in that front. But yeah, if we do get more, well, the location tests for Tekken 8 or for the closed alpha thing will probably still happen. I think it's going to be at Combo Breaker. I think it is. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't at Evo this year because Street Fighter 6 was there. So I think it'd be wise to let people do Tekken 8 at Evo. Any other information? No clue. If you do put it out on PC, or they do put it out on PC, I'll be like, have fun. Have fun.
My personal sort of headcanon on this is they're going to do a few more closed alpha tests. You know, they've done one at Evo Japan. They've had one at Leon. They're going to have one at Combo Breaker. And then there's going to be another one at Evo. And then shortly after Evo, they're going to be like, and now you might be able to get your hands on it, because then they're going to announce some sort of closed beta. Mm-hmm. Because I think they need to test the online functionality for this as well. You know, that's... they like Harada sort of confirmed rollback via Twitter, which I found a bit weird, to be honest with you, because you'd think something like that would be more of a big deal. And like, you know, strictly speaking, Tekken 7 has rollback, but not very well implemented rollback. So what does Harada mean when he says the game will have rollback? So, you know, lots of questions, right? Like Bandai Namco have notoriously been quite sort of obstinate and tight-lipped about their approach to netcode. I mean, they have sort of outsourced to Arika for netcode, who do Fighting EX layer, and they do good netcode. So that's a positive sign for sure. But it's no confirmation that the game will have, like, you know, sophisticated modern netcode.
Well, only time will tell. We just have to wait and see. I think what some of the players have been saying, at least the ones that have been seriously competing, they said, look, instead of giving all the money to first place, distribute it amongst the finalists. Then it's like, we're all technically eating. Okay, $1 million goes to first place. How do you know second place isn't going to get 700,000 of that? Then you got to split 300,000 between the next 20 odd players or whatever. And it's like, you can distribute it differently. I personally think it's all about the distribution. Yes, headlines, that'd be brilliant. Hadouken Hater 81 wins $1 million.